Back then, every summer afternoon felt like it would last forever, until the sky quietly decided otherwise.
The wind always arrived first, whispering that something wonderful was about to happen.
Before the rain ever arrived, the whole neighborhood seemed to pause and listen.
One tiny raindrop became two, and suddenly the whole world sounded completely different.
Nobody complained about getting soaked, because running home together was part of the fun.
The house filled with muddy shoes, dripping clothes, and the happiest kind of chaos.
Outside, the storm kept growing stronger. But somehow, home only became warmer.
Rain always carried the same promise. Grilled cheese, warm soup, and a kitchen filled with comfort.
Every meal tasted a little better whenever rain played music on the windows. Before every quiet moment belonged to a screen, rainy afternoons belonged to the people sitting beside you. Somehow, everyone always wanted the same game piece, even after playing it 100 times. Winning hardly mattered. The excitement was watching those little dice decide your whole afternoon.
You didn't need anyone to announce cookies were ready. The smell always found you first. Some rules were made to be broken, especially the one about waiting for the cookies to cool.
Then came the moment every summer storm eventually brought. The lights began to flicker. And just like that, the lights went out. But somehow the evening was only getting started.
Back then, a power outage didn't stop the fun. It simply changed the kind of memories we were about to make. The moment those candles were lit, the whole house somehow felt warmer than electricity ever could.
Every flashlight instantly became a stage. And every wall became part of the story.
Funny how the brightest memories were often made on nights when the lights never came back on.
Every family had that one story. The one that somehow became scarier every single time it was told. Every old house had mysterious sounds. And somehow they always chose the perfect moment. Most of the monsters we imagine usually turned out to have 4 paws and a fluffy tail. After every storm came that magical moment when the whole world smelled brand new again. The storm was finally over, which meant the best part of the afternoon was just beginning. Every puddle felt like an invitation, and somehow, we never thought twice about jumping in. One kid splashed first, and within minutes, the whole neighborhood wanted to join in. Sometimes the smallest little stream became the biggest adventure we could imagine.
After every summer storm, it felt like nature came outside to celebrate with us.
Some rainy afternoons never really ended. They simply turned into the most unforgettable summer evenings. There was something about charcoal on a cool summer evening. It smelled like the perfect ending to the day.
Dinner somehow tasted even better when you had to wait just a little longer for it. Let us pray. Nobody rushed through dinner.
Because summer evenings always seem to have all the time in the world. The neighborhood always came alive again after the rain, as if everyone had been waiting for the same invitation.
Then, just as the sun disappeared, tiny lights began dancing across the yard like summer magic.
The first firefly always felt like the beginning of something magical. And suddenly we were chasing little stars across the backyard. For a little while, it felt like we had captured a piece of summer itself. The best part wasn't catching them. It was watching them find their way back into the night. Once the clouds moved away, it felt like the whole universe had been waiting just for us. Before every answer lived inside a screen, we found stories written across the stars instead. Nobody wanted to be the first one to go back inside. Whenever a shooting star appeared, every kid believed their wish had a chance of coming true.
Look at that big dragon!
And a giant turtle!
I see a bunny!
The real constellations, our imaginations were more than enough.
Eventually, the cool night air reminded us,
Even the best summer days had to come to an end. The lights finally came back, but somehow we'd already forgotten we ever needed them. The games were over, but somehow nobody wanted the day to end just yet. And it made bedtime feel different somehow. No matter how old we got, there was always time for one last story before sleep. Every good night ended the same way,
With one more laugh.
before someone whispered, "Good night." Long before every evening was filled with notifications, silence was one of the happiest sounds we ever knew. That night, sleep came easier than it ever seemed to after a day spent completely outdoors.
even the neighborhood seemed to sleep differently after a summer rain.
Morning always felt brighter after the rain, almost like the whole world had been washed clean overnight. The next morning, breakfast somehow tasted even better after a night filled with simple memories. By morning, the storm had disappeared, but somehow the memories it left behind never did. The next adventure had already begun, but somehow, yesterday was the one we'd remember forever.
Funny how ordinary days never seem important, until years later, when they're the ones we miss the most.
Back then, we never realized we were living the moments. We'd spend the rest of our lives remembering.
Maybe we don't remember every summer. We simply remember how those moments made us feel.
We thought it was just another rainy day, but it quietly became one of the best memories of childhood.